Hey, how's it going? Welcome to News Acc, Friday 22nd October 2021. We're looking from the papers. First up, New York Times, pictures some Haitian gangs role-playing as Power Rangers. Guy on the right looks like he just walked out of a game of Halo. Beside that, Steve Bannon found in contempt of Congress, going to have criminal charges pressed. Over on the right, climate. Down here, GOP targeting race theory in schools. Picture from Wuhan, China, people starting the university year. Underneath that, COVID cases line go up in Britain. USA Today, surgeons attaching a pig kidney. Over on the right, conservative school boards reshaping US education. That's talking about banning things like LGBTQ plus signs, rainbow flags, Black Lives Matter protests, and dissolving things like equity committees in schools. Down the bottom, story about the Haiti kidnapping. Wall Street Journal, 2 years after IPO fiasco, WeWork shares soar and debut. So WeWork yesterday listed by an SPAC and had a big day of it. Obviously the shares went up. Another SPAC that got listed yesterday was Trump's social media platform, which showed the biggest gain for investors in one day of trading. No mention of that on the front of the Wall Street Journal. Wonder why. Underneath that, story about duplicate user accounts on Facebook, which is obscuring the actual numbers. New York Post, story about Alec Baldwin, who was on set and apparently killed a female cinematographer with a prop gun, which is totally crazy. Another victim of Hollywood, I guess. National Post from Canada, labour shortage. Grandma from Cuba, story about agriculture in Cuba, how it's getting better. Story on the right about 1 million children been vaccinated with COVID. Pretty good, fair play to Cuba. Down the bottom, quote from Fidel: "The land for the peasants is a byproduct of the revolution, of the justice that the revolution brought." Yes, thank you, Fidel. Star of South Africa, picture of a DJ, Ukozi FM DJ Nigzwe Mushunu. I've messed that up, but there you go. He's going to court with a heavily armed female bodyguard, a bit Gaddafi style. He's being charged with inciting violence around the time that Jacob Zuma was arrested. Below that, true crime story, a manhunt going on for 4 siblings who were kidnapped. Jerusalem Post, Meretz MK asks Europe to punish Israel for occupation. Meretz are a left-wing social democratic green political party in Israel who are part of the broad coalition that's happening there at the moment. They're lobbying European members of parliament to encourage robust consequences for Israel's violations of international law. Let's see how it goes. The Australian schools risk next-gen security. This is Alan Tudge, who is the education minister. He came out and said that schools are feeding students a negative view of history and undermining confidence in liberal democracy, and the next generation of Australians will be unwilling to defend their country in a military crisis. He's also expressing deep concern that children are still fed negative views of our country, our history and our people, and said that the new curriculum has weakened Christianity despite it being the single most important influence on our modern development. He says that Western liberal culture should be just as fiercely defended in schools as Indigenous culture and heritage. Oh, also J.K. Rowling was on the front there. Good to see their platform and her. Really well-known, nice figure. The Hindu farmer protest still going on. COVID doses. Down the bottom, story of the Glasgow Climate Summit coming up. Global Times from China. Picture there, the South Korean president. They apparently tried to launch a satellite into orbit, but it didn't work. They were using a new domestically developed 3-part rocket. Down the bottom, story about Taiwan. Not happy with how the EU are going on. Der Spiegel from Germany. Some nice imagery today talking about Holland, which is just cheese, cocaine and murderers. Fair enough. Irish Examiner, bars are going to open fully today, going to be carnage on the streets. Best of luck to everyone. Over on the right, council workers set rats free in office. Some lad in Cork City Council who was disgruntled with his manager let 2 rats loose into his office and they apparently shit all over the place. Irish Times, there's Boris Johnson having a right laugh with Simon Coveney and Union Jack Chambers. They're up in Armagh yesterday celebrating 100 glorious years of the beautiful statelet of Northern Ireland, which was of course formed with hundreds and hundreds of Catholic deaths, and 20,000 refugees were pushed out of Northern Ireland, something like that, or 20,000 Catholics were pushed out of their jobs, and a lot of them had to flee the country to the south and to Scotland, that type of thing. Good to see they're celebrating it there anyway. Story about EU versus Poland underneath from yesterday. Irish Independent, property, climate, nightclubs. Irish Daily Mail, COVID passes, Angelina Jolie with a big bit of metal in her face, alright. Irish Sun, true crime. Herald, football, true crime as always. Belfast Telegraph, something about holiday vouchers for ministers. The Herald from Scotland, climate, football. Financial Times, there's Merkel heading to her last summit of the European Council. Interest rates at 5% in England. Something down the bottom of this new global corporate tax rate being led by America. Over on the right, very small story, but Vladimir Putin has come out and said they can provide more gas to Europe as long as Germany approved the Nord Stream pipeline. The Guardian, Laura Kuenssberg stepping down as BBC political editor. Of course, famously very anti-Corbyn and pro-Tory. I guess they're going to replace her with someone pretty much the same, much like Nick Robinson before her. Booster jabs down the bottom, something with Elton John. Daily Torygraph, some fawning coverage of Laura Kuenssberg there, nice photo, etc. Booster jabs, crisis over GPs. GPs are threatening to go on strike in the UK because they want to insist that they give face-to-face appointments to people. The Independent, 4 stories on top. Supply chains, Keir Mayor, it's time to end fire and rehire for good. Yet they should just fire people, including you, mate. Beside that, Russia. Beside that, football. Biden and climate credibility, talking about the summit coming up next month in Scotland. The Times boosters, there's Boris again, having a nice time in Armagh. Underneath that, Amos murder suspect targeted 2 other MPs, talking about David Amos, the MP that was killed. Daily Express, Amos killer as well, he was plotting for 2 years to kill other MPs apparently. Boosters underneath, the Metro, David Amos suspect again. Apparently he targeted him because David Amos voted for airstrikes in Syria. That was what radicalised him. Daily Mail, the GP story been going on strike, another fawning photo of Laura Kroonsberg. Booster, jabs, newspaper, missing vaccines minister. The Minister for Vaccines and Public Health apparently hasn't been seen in public for 6 weeks. Wonder why. Daily Star, price of Marmite going up. Oh dear. Daily Mirror, Ant and Dec. Queen sent to hospital. The Queen apparently spent Wednesday night in hospital and then was back out, and she's chilling out wherever she is, Windsor Castle or something, taking it easy. A lot of people online seem to be quite excited about the idea of the Queen dying. I am personally not excited because we'll have to look at weeks, potentially months of media coverage, and she's just going to be replaced by probably Charles. So, out of the frying pan into the fire. Anyway, Julian Assange is still being held in Belmarsh Maximum Security Prison without fair trial or due process. There's going to be a little event today at about 3 o'clock British Standard Time being held by Progressive International where they're going to discuss the case of Julian Assange. Highly recommend tuning in. Alright, that's it for the day and the week. Have a very nice weekend. If you want to stay off corporate or state media, just click the link in the description. Alright, thanks, good luck.